Our story begins in the bustling city where adventurers roam freely. Inside one of the houses, a knight asks a girl named Ultra how Mars is doing. She, referring to the man as Gordon, says that he is working well. She questions how long he will need to learn just one skill. Meanwhile, on the other side of the door, our guy is completely immersed as he flips through the books. He realizes that the voice seems to belong to Gordon and Ultra. This is the skill Donner Mars, a member of an strength group, the Silver Sword of the Divine. Two other people appear on the scene, questioning if something is wrong. The mage comments that the corridor is quite cold and doesn't think it's nice for them to be talking there. Our boy notices the two girls and refers to them as Alaya and Tina. He keeps flipping through his magic books while explaining his situation. Your group focuses on the technique of the Saint of the Sword, known as Divine Sword Speed, strengthening the attack cutting charm, Eagle Eyes, among other skills. The one who possesses various skills is the Swordsman Ultra. Knowledge is the ability to inherit and possess ancient magic or ancestral knowledge. Enchantments like mana self-recovery and high casting speed make it possible to use this in battle. Commenting on the sorcery princess Elia. By using the obsidian fortification ability, she can make her defense as resilient as a fortress, and her physical enchantment Instant Steps grants high mobility. Thus, Gordon, the former gatekeeper of the Capital Palace, becomes invincible. With the Angel's Wing skill, combined with the area enchantment and duration increase, it is even possible for her to resurrect the dead, the healing saint, Tina. With such strong and unique skills, the four show great synergy in using the abilities they possess. Within the Shrank group, which is the product of a miracle, I am undeniably just mediocre. I have only one skill, that of a skill donor. Of course, I have other skills, but nothing remains, because I sent all of them to the members of my group with my ability. Knowledge and training are necessary to learn skills. For this reason, it has been 3 years since I set up this study room for myself. It was an ordinary room at first, but since then it has started to turn into a storage room. The injured knight comments that all of this is Mars' fault, saying that he needs to learn skills to capture the next dungeon. The other comments that even if we take skills that Mars can learn, it's a waste of time. The sorceress agrees, commenting that Elia already has sufficient skills. If he cannot even protect himself, then it is a great discredit. She, however, understands the reason he is working hard. The difference in talent is great. Our guy just kept listening to the insults from the room. It would be better if he weren't here. Mars might not be useful to us. He should leave. We don't need him anymore. After so much time hearing the same things repeated, our boy seems to have made his decision. 3 years ago, your fate was sealed. It is dangerous to challenge a dungeon without preparation, but by managing to increase the boss disadvantages, they could, with luck, continue capturing them. Ultra and the others became convinced that they did this with their own strength. After that moment, they refused to listen to everything I had to say. But the fact of the difference in our talents is undeniable. After the next labyrinth, it is quite likely that they will ask me to leave my skills behind and go. Our friend goes to the door and turns the lock. Explaining that it is over, he says that he will give everyone this ability. The guy, frustrated, remarks that our boy is late, but all you can do is listen silently. I will be more careful next time. The knight asks that I just do this at once. He asks them to come closer, as he will send the 12 skills he has just learned. It is then that your skill donor, is activated with powerful magic resonating around you and the system announcing the skills. The system appears to start the unloading process, asking them to choose the donor and the donated skill. After a few moments, everyone gains the abilities, and the donation process has been completed. With that, we can go, comments the healer, but the mage is irritated, saying they could capture her at any moment. Our guy, knowing that his part is over, moves. He leaves the 4 discussing their next steps. As always, no thanks from their part. He has been working so hard to learn these skills that he even forgot to eat. The young woman hands him the dish that was already prepared. But when our guy opens it and looks inside, it is questioned whether this is just water and a piece of bread from 4 days ago. The knight comments that they are trying to save a little money, so he hopes he can handle it. They will leave tomorrow and ask him not to sleep too much. Our friend only replies that he understood, while thinking that they must be eating meat every day. The next day, in this rank dungeon, demonic abyss. I will use the sword saint, so don't get caught. He asks that you don't move, or you'll end up dying. The mage also hopes that his distance is not an obstacle, requiring that he not be a burden. Our friend just listens, frustrated. The knight activates the sword saint, and a glow emanates from the blade. The approaching monsters begin to be blinded. In the next instant, he slashes the creatures with overwhelming speed. Our guy realizes he is using the dynamic vision enchantment, as well as eagle eyes and other abilities too, but he doesn't hear him say it at any moment. Learning a skill is like the wheel of a mill. With little water, it will not move, but with enough, the motion increases rapidly. For the skill, it's the same skills are learned when their points exceed 1,000, and the points are used to enhance their effects. He heard that by increasing to the limit, his skill evolves to a higher rank. Unlike common skills, unique ones rarely appear between the ages of 8 and 12. Unique abilities have effects and characteristics different from any other ability. There is a story about a famous guild master asking an 8-year-old girl he wrote a contract with her on the spot. My skill-giving ability is also a unique skill. Its effect is to donate skills that it has to other people. Even though I have learned the skill, only others can activate it. For example, if I use the sword swing, the power is minimal, but when I donate it to the sword Saint Ultra, the effect becomes 10 times greater. Work hard to learn skills so that I can contribute. At least, that's what I thought. That's why I started learning them desperately. He was invited only for having a unique skill known as a prodigy. Ultra asked for something in return, and it all started when he was given the eagle eyes. How long do you intend to sleep? You should at least carry the luggage, can't you even do that? They clean the surroundings, commenting that it's not as difficult as they say, questioning whether this is really a rank demon abyss. The knight agrees, saying that it is just a large number of monsters. The mage comments that the trap did not even have any effect on them. The other knight remembers that the angel wings are activated. Our colleague reflects on what they are saying, appearing to be irritated. The ground is filled with poison, and the venomous monsters use their gas to paralyze your body. That's why many strong men have fallen here. It is from the sacrifice of many that they came to know of this, and sought a skill to strike back. And it was because I learned it that these people can walk through this hell without trouble. But nothing can be done, even if I say something. Arguing with them is a waste of time. The most important thing is to keep going to maintain distance. The skill given yesterday has only 1,000 points, so if I stay too far away, the effect will disappear. The priestess hopes our guy isn't scared. The other warrior comments that he will die if he gets stuck behind. Our subject just keeps walking down this winding path. Those two laughing at me would be choking because of the gas, but that doesn't mean anything, so I keep holding on. Soon they realize that the path forks. He turns to Mars, questioning whether he has a skill for that. Our guy comments that there is the hawk's intuition, but it can only check for traps along the way. Our guy tries to explain, but the other is just annoyed. He asks not to skip the explanation and just do his job. Our guy thinks that Ultra is a type who always gets upset about being left behind, and because of that all the skills are accumulating in him, even without knowing what they are or their effects. Even if he explains, he knows the guy will not hear his words. So, the knight just apologizes, says that this is all his fault and that he will cut his part. He thinks it's not even 10% to begin with. If he cuts, there will be nothing left. But even if he argues, he knows where it will end. He should just pray that his mood improves when they return. The knight activates the hawk's intuition and perceives something. The mage promptly questions what she is seeing. He explains that the door is on the right and it is large. Upon arriving, they encounter a large carved door with a snake on it and, around it, several ancient writings. Our guy soon realizes that it's a dragon and not a snake. With such a striking figure, It should be the boss office. They arrived there without losing anyone, all thanks to the knowledge inherited over time. The lives of the people who died there will not be in vain, after all. The knight comments that this must be the boss room. The others think it was even quick to get there. Our guy thinks that no one except him feels this way. The sorceress turns to him, saying she will explain the plan. As they stare at him, our boy wonders if his job there is just to hide in the corners. The mage asks where they are, mentioning that even he understands her very well. The knight remarks that he will have the honor of becoming the vanguard. Our boy instantly questions these words. He questions whether they really want him to go ahead to the boss's office. What else could it be? The knight asks. I don't understand what the reason is for doing that. Are you really an idiot? Want to talk about something else? Am not able to discuss that topic, but am always happy to chat about other things. What else is on your mind? You are trying to violate Article number 17 of the Guild Rules. The knight mentions that he understood it well. There are rules for adventurers in the world. These rules were created by the Guild of the Federation, which has strong authority. They are imposed even on ranked sex groups. The last article is number 17. When a member of the group withdraws, they must be paid based on the time they worked there. The knight asks how long he has been in the group. Our friend mentions that he has just started his 7th year. He comments that his value is quite high for 7 years and that it is time to reap his rewards. He knows how difficult the work of adventurers is, and at least he would receive a decent reward at the end. But I would never allow something like that to happen. He turns to the others, questioning if Tina, Gordon, and Elia agree with this. Gordon comments that this is what his leader decided. Elia agrees, while Tina says she did not agree at first, but it is the majority vote. They are basically discarding someone who worked by their side for 6 years by majority vote, questioning whether everything they have done so far had any meaning. Are you serious? If I'm not here, all my skills will be, but soon the knight interrupts. Keeping someone with such a lack of skill is a detriment. Having you with us is a loss, and adding that to the years of losses we've accumulated, we've decided that, after finishing the capture of this dungeon, our group will be reborn as a true ranks. So am I in debt? He had been enduring it for a long time, thinking he should be happy to be part of an ranked group, that he should support this group for the sake of the world. But in the end, he was just a burden to them. That's why you should leave soon. There's a first-class alchemist who will take your place. Now show me the outcome of your salary. Our friend finally agrees. But before that, our boy comments, while the knight gets irritated. Return all the skills you borrowed. They all look at our boy. He explains that if he is going to die, the abilities will lose their effect anyway. So, it would be better if he could at least try to hurt the boss a little. It's impossible for you to achieve that, don't dream. But the knight then agrees with him. He is curious about how long he will be able to fight. Questioning what he should do, our boy says he must respond to what he says. Activating your skill donor, he requests that everything be returned. The knight confirms that he will return everything to him. Gordon also replies that he will return. Eli answered the same, just like Tina, the priestess. Our boy suddenly starts to shine. The system announces that the return has been approved and is being processed. He asks if they are done, and our guy replies that yes. He thinks about the voice of the young lady that only he can hear. It is the support system of the skill donor. She helps him in the processes of giving and recovering. But the voice seems to have been cut off, perhaps due to the number of abilities. He explains that he has retrieved the abilities he had given to them and questions whether they understand the interest rate. Calling him Toichi, he says it is 10-cent interest every 10 days. He remembers that this was said a long time ago. They returned them, but they didn't even know about the interest and the payment. The mage says that she remembers and that it's not a problem. Of what they borrowed, the oldest skill is from 6 years ago. Based on skill points, from 1010% every 10 days means adding 100 to 360 5 times per year. Over 6 years, this totals 219, and based on SPI, This means we must pay 22,800 skill points, which is not little, but Alaya's high-speed enchantment is now 1,212,000, and even after the payment, there will still be over 1 million left. That's enough for the battle. Perhaps some skill will be lost, but it will be a skill I rarely use, so it won't be a problem. When we decided to leave you, we had already considered it. We knew you would think that way. Tina comments that it's a shame and asks him to calm down. Our boy thinks they seem to have made a mistake in the calculations. He turned to Ilya, calling her name. He remembers that the calculations of interest on his ability are not done as summed interest, in fact, they are compound interest. They all end up questioning what he is talking about, while the mage continues to reflect on it. Simple interests are, in the way you mentioned, they remain the same day, just accumulating. She questions what the difference in the interest of bodies would be. After 10 days, if the base points are 1,000, then they become 1,100. It's like simple interest here, but after 10 days, the base will increase by 10 from 1.1 to 1.21. What? But it's just a 10-point difference. Just return the luggage and go fight the boss already. Meanwhile, Tina pleads with God to take the soul of this man who was not blessed with talent, but beside her, the mage was in a trance, making her mental calculations and murmuring. She continued speculating about the total amount she would have after 6 years. Would it be 32,000 for 1 year, 1 million for 2 years? She asks, worried. She expresses extreme concern about it, and our boy notices. He turns to the knight. The man raises his leg, ready to kick him into the boss's office, but the sorceress is in a panic. He is surprised that she can calculate so quickly after understanding the mechanism. He is pushed and falls forward. At this moment, the door opens before them, and our body falls in there, dragging our face on the ground due to the impact. He rises only to see the darkness around him. The mage pushes the knight aside as she runs ahead. She is panicking, running towards the protagonist as the door closes in front of her. He looks at her with a sadistic smile, saying that it's too late. It is at that moment that the door slams shut with a loud bang. The system finally responds, processing complete, ability named Falcon Eyes, former user Ultra, beginning interest collection at 116 billion%. An intense pain struck our friend at that moment. He writhed as he tried to hold on. Coughing up blood, he began to lose consciousness. It was when the system started activating the safety mechanism. Our guy finds himself in a completely white environment. He realizes that he is naked, he feels strange there, but he does not feel cold. Even though he is alone in this vast space, he does not feel bad. Suddenly, the system announces that the relocation to the protected area has been confirmed. He questioned this, thinking that maybe he had been teleported or if he was in a space with magical movement. The system explains that this space is within your mind and, because of the massive amount of skills collected, your brain has been damaged and is being healed. Only your consciousness has been relocated to this safe area. It questions about your brain. She explains that he has suffered damage but is under treatment with high-speed healing abilities, so there is no need to worry. Yet our boy was indeed worried. It still seemed frightening to maintain his consciousness in his current state. He is surprised to have this conversation with the system. He believed it was just a form of response, like a machine. She explains that she already has her personality set up, but does not have a body. He questions what would already be configured. So, there must be someone who set it up, right? Who would that person be? She dodges, commenting that the process is almost complete, and that he will soon be awakened, as the brain has been healed. He has been studying diligently every day. She prays that he may achieve his future and shine brightly. So you've been watching me all this time. Yes, I have watched everything more closely than anyone. Even though no one has noticed, I have watched everything through your eyes. Turn all the time that was stolen into your true power. That is the only desire I possess. Our boy remembered that no one looked at him in that group. Even while he desperately thought about them, he believed that no one cared for him. She comments that, as the healing process has been completed, she will reconnect to the nervous system. and he will wake up soon. The collection of all donated abilities has been finalized. May I at least ask something before leaving? What is your name? The system responds you. He replies that it's a good name. Meanwhile, in the ranks group, the mage advises them to enter immediately, leaving the leader in doubt. He questions whether she wants to save Mars. She says no, that she doesn't want to save him. She says they need to kill him as quickly as possible, but the knight does not understand. Since Mars is doomed to die soon anyway, he never quite understood what Elia was thinking. However, what she is saying now is strange. He remarks that he knows she is a genius, but in this world they have this thing called common sense. However, the girl begins to collapse with fatigue, sweat, and trembling. He tells her to wait because the boss is going to finish Mars. Tina says it's true, they couldn't do something like murdering someone. But the girl, sweating heavily, realizes that the poison is taking effect on her. Soon she loses consciousness while everyone watches her. Tina also falls to her knees, unable to understand why the poison is taking effect. The knight questions whether the angel's wings are not working. While others fall, the knight tries to hold on. But he will be the next to fall. Our guy, lying on the floor of the boss office, begins to awaken. He wonders if the boss hasn't attacked all this time, but then quickly realizes that, while he was there, only an instant may have passed. Your head no longer hurts, nor is there any blood. He notices the only lights there that are embedded in the stone along the walls. Even with so little light, he still can't see the boss in this dark room. Soon, he remembers the skills and that they have evolved thanks to the absurd amount of points he received. About 8 skills have evolved and gained enhancement: Spatial Rupture, Sisu, Chantless, 6 Arms of Ashura, Divine Eyes, Spatial Jump, Unlimited Mana Source, Shinra Bansho. His other resilience skills also returned. Without that, he wouldn't last a minute there, but he needs to understand his situation soon. He activates the Divine Eyes and the Intuition of the Hawk. Ahead, you see a throne, and something there catches your attention. Something is sitting on the throne. It is the dragon snake Vritra. That's why the labyrinth is full of monsters specialized in poisonous attacks. If you enter unprepared, you'll end up dying from poison, and even if you're prepared, you'll end up poisoning the strongest dragon. What a magical sight! But if he cannot defeat the dungeon, it will not be captured. With the skills he has now, it shouldn't be impossible for him to make money, but he shouldn't miss this opportunity to earn the reward. The system alerts that a dangerous enemy has emerged. He notices that Yu seems to be closer to her this time and says that it's okay. From the information he had, it is said that this is a white dragon that cannot be killed with any technique or weapon. The snake quickly advances, and our character uses the space jump to escape. She passes by at high speed, causing a loud bang. Without wasting time, she moves her tail. Our man notices the advance of the attack. He activates Ashura's 6 arms to defend himself. Before the impact, the arms held the snake and prevented its advance. Our guy thinks about what to do next. He pulls the snake using his arms and balances it with strength. The thrown snake collides with the ground, causing a crater. If it were a normal monster, it would have died from that. She gets up again, turning toward him. This is a dragon that cannot be killed. He doesn't know if the normal abilities will work against the creature. The system informs that all skills have been collected and asks if he wishes to proceed to the next stage. He confirms. He collected the borrowed skills, but they have not yet reached the full level of interest, so he must decide what to maximize first. The system starts calculating the amount of points needed for the unique skills. It asks that only one skill be evolved, as it doesn't want its brain to be corrupted again. She asks him to select the skill to maximize. The skill is selected and the system records Elia's depth, and the skill Ancient Knowledge will be maximized. The skill has evolved into the Song of the Gods. For people with unique skills, it is to compare their title or existence by the effects they live. For the Silver Spirit, it would be the same as their lives. He decides that they should return what was borrowed. The system warns that Elia's minimum total points limit has been reached. This is the total that can be collected now. Until the payment is completed, the points will be automatically maximized. He activates the Song of the Gods while thinking that this ability allows him to learn any magic, even from the legends before the existence of humanity. He activates Causitis and the effect of the chantless ability, and with the limitless mana source, mana consumption was invalidated. Activate the evolved skill, Spatial Rupture. Someone once said that skill is about playing with synergy, and unleashes the skill Danyujin. The blow is so strong that it shatters the snake instantly, causing it to be split into various pieces. They fall in front of you while our guy watches. Note that, even after everything, the creature's body is trying to piece itself back together to regenerate. Freezing the creature's limbs, he realizes the monster's terrible healing ability. He picks up one of the pieces and brings it closer. Even frozen in ice, he will last for 1,000 years and will remain alive, even having sealed his healing ability. He activates the spatial ability and increases his influence with the Shinrabancho skill. With this ability he can see the world, as far as the blue sky, in the limitless darkness known as the Sea of Stars. Being able to recognize the whole world with his ability, the image of the end of the world was etched in his mind. He commands to jump. And all the parts of the body of the great snake are teleported instantly. The system asks where he placed the location of the jump. He explains that he placed it above the sky. He believes it will take 1,000 years for the ice to melt and another 1,000 years for him to come back to life. Until that happens, this dungeon will remain empty. The dungeon begins to shake, and he thinks it's because the boss has come out of there. He remembers the group and thinks they must be paralyzed, but the mining group should soon find them before the complete collapse. He got some material from the boss, so he thinks he should leave, but something catches his attention. He realizes that there is still something there in the dungeon. When looking into a corner, they notice something frozen. It is the egg of Vritra, the great serpent. The system explains that it is possible to interrupt its birth by destroying the egg and waits for the protagonist's response. He keeps thinking as he looks at the egg. Remember that Vritra will take 2 years to be reborn. In the future, humans may not have the skills to fight against her, so she may take revenge. The only thing that can stop a Vritra is another Vritra. I don't know if I will be able to tame it, but if I raise it properly, I might have a chance. He explains that he is going to create it, questioning whether the system objects. It responds that it finds this choice interesting. He smiles and thanks, realizing that it is the first time he has heard something like this. The system cancels the cooking skills that had been activated, and our guy laughs nervously. Finally, he decides that he must leave there, so activate the space jump. On that day, for the first time, he was able to enjoy under that blue sky. After that, he went back to get a hot soup. The protagonist looked at his egg, and he thought about what he should do next. Ultra and the others were still in the underground, so he completed the payment process for the guild's reward and moved to the inn. But still wondered how long it had been since feeling this way. He asked Yu if she could hear him, and she replied with a yes. He believes he would like to create a body for himself. But she would like to question something first. She commented that, one day, he would meet a beautiful girl, which left our friend frustrated. It seems like an obvious situation, since he doesn't have a girlfriend, but it's just so he can thank her for helping him all this time. If Yu doesn't mind, for what she accepted, she replies that this will not change the function of her assistant skills. But he only asks how she would like her body. She then finally replies that I would like to touch it with my own hands. But he questions whether this would really be possible. He knows it's impossible to create life out of nothing, but when he was in the protected area, he realized something. Some skills can create a body, but without consciousness. However, if you have already prepared a consciousness in advance, things change. As long as it's possible to create a body, it should not be impossible to place consciousness into it. And with that, I will take my second reward. He activates the skill donor. The system confirms the choice of the skill, and the process is initiated. From Tina's debit, the skill Angel Wings was maximized. It evolved into Seraphim's Blessing and then activated the skill. Our guy asks you to get ready. Now that the ability has evolved, it should be possible to create a body. Initiating transfer of personality function to the real world, coordinated with the location of each muscle fiber. Successful initial activation of neurotransmission, initiating synchronization. Our guy opens his arms, and then the girl's body begins to materialize in his embrace. Yu finally appears before you. Our boy is surprised. She began to open her eyes, and then ask him for something. She would like to ask 2 questions. So far, she has always called him Yu. So now that he has a body, she would like to know how she should address him. He says that just Mars is enough. She says she thinks it's inappropriate, considering that he is her creator and owner, according to the available information. She calls him Master. Our friend is a bit perplexed by this. He remembers that Gordon used to visit a waitress bar. Yu then questions the second thing. Where would your clothes be? Now that you mentioned it, he realized he hadn't even noticed. He remembers that the clothes would normally be recreated by the enhancement and strengthening of healing, but she can't create clothes from scratch. She doesn't mind staying like that, but he asks her to wear some of his clothes and hopes she doesn't mind for the time being. They'll go shopping soon, so it shouldn't be a problem. Yu feels happy because the clothes carry our guy's scent. He thanks you but mentions that this expression is somewhat erotic, so he asks you to be careful. He realizes that the girl sees the world through his eyes, but her perception of reality is still limited. It's better for her to learn things gradually. They head towards somewhere they can create Vritra, believing it would be better to be in a location further away from the city. Yu calls your attention again, and she wonders which foot she should use first to walk. He thinks that 2 of the Divine Silver Sword's abilities have been maximized. Now only the Sword of the Saint of Ultra and Gordon's Obsidian ability remain, but has not in a hurry for those last 2, as they are only used for battle. Surely he will take what is his. Meanwhile, at the city bar, Ultra explains how, with his holy sword, he cut the frozen snake into pieces. The adventurers are impressed. He explains that Mars betrayed them, otherwise they would have returned triumphant. One of the guys asks why the boss body wasn't there, after all. And how Mars could have defeated 4 Shrank guys with a stealth attack. Ultra comments that she drank too much, and that they should continue talking about it another day. They comment that perhaps Mars has regained the abilities that had been given to them, but they question whether this would be possible. Perhaps he had given 10 to 20 skills in 6 years, and still, it would not be possible to defeat 4 people with unique skills. Tina says he's good at lying. Ultra replies that, for those jerks, it's easy. He bangs on the table, questioning where our guy is. Tina comments that it has already been a week since the mining group found them, and that, when they woke up, Mars had already left more than 3 days ago. Ultra has invented everything since then about the ice that was in the miner's dungeon, as everyone passed out after the capture ended, and it was Mars who disappeared after reporting to the guild. Angrily, he turns to the waitress asking for his drink. Tina gets angry with your attitude, questioning whether her image will get worse when the church finds out about this. But he doesn't seem to care. Turning to the mage, he asks if she has anything to say, so she can use her brain to think of something useful instead of just blowing things up with magic. She clears her throat before answering. There is something she has truly realized, which intrigues Ultra. She says that this bread with popcorn soup is really something delicious, leaving Ultra more frustrated. Asking if he doesn't like it, Ultra replies that that's not the point. She, filled with happiness, says that it's the greatest discovery of the year, but Ultra remains outraged by the situation. Alaya has always been a brilliant girl. She was the one who wrote the thesis on certain multidimensional interpretations of the noise of mana. She possesses the unique ability of knowledge, and this has made the academic community excited about her dissertations. But what the hell is going on? There's not even a trace of that person here now. He has a bad omen about it. Meanwhile, our guy keeps walking. He explains that Duca Beak is an intelligent person who hates conflict. He has a taste for cultivating in this area that has been impoverished by the recent wars. He asks if Yu has gotten used to walking. She says yes, and it has been easier on the main street. He explains that this road connects the cities and is used by many people and lords, and for Duke Abik, it is the main route that links safety and comfort, but for this reason, fees are charged. They often camp to hunt or move soldiers to subdue monsters, that's why the fee is necessary. To evade this, they build villages and cities. When they are created, the economy flourishes and return points are established. One of those cities built for this is Kinue. Its size is not very large, but it should accommodate about 100 people. You called her attention again. She comments that it doesn't seem to be their situation and questions why. He thinks that perhaps it is due to Yu's beauty. She seems perplexed that, to keep the world beautiful, many creatures die, and our guy contemplates the situation. Zombies, poison cats, night dogs, and fire slimes all in just one night. He mentions that they could use a space jump, but they're not in a hurry. They should give the girl a chance to learn more. She believes that, from their perspective, they are just two unprepared people, so that must be the reason for the focus. He still believes it has something to do with his beauty and his silver hair, but without understanding the reason. He heard that humans with abilities emit unique mana, so maybe has drawing attention due to the number of points. She only mentions that they can hold them with skills, so it shouldn't be a problem. She contemplates the possibilities of making everything automatic with her master's creativity. By activating the space jump around the tent and extending its effect, they can sleep without the attack of monsters. They will eventually fly into the sky and fall to the ground automatically. In the end, it's all about your imagination, after all. But still, this number is not normal. They should arrive in the city soon. Soon they can see the city of Kinue. There is the inn where adventurers and travelers can rest. There are various types of inns, as well as shops that sell weapons for adventurers. It is just one of the many cities along the main road. Its atmosphere is different from most previous cities. They soon pass by a tavern. Yu asks what it is. He explains that it is sweet bread, asking if she wants to try it. They soon buy and leave the store, but someone catches their attention with a rude attitude. As they look to the side, they see a girl falling to the ground. The man questions her attitude, saying that she won't get any food if she doesn't finish carrying that. Our guy is surprised to see it. He questions about this breed, and Yu doesn't understand. On the girl's head, furry ears rise. On its torso, a large fur tail. He is surprised to hear someone of the wolf species around there. Yu questions whether it is rare. He says that yes, they originally lived in the forest around there, but after the war with humans, they were hunted and rarely seen. The lands around used to be a forest, but after the war, they were deforested. Therefore, the person who developed the ruined land was Duke Abik. They show great strength in the forest with their claws and fangs, and a fur-covered body blessed by the god of wolves. They are a proud race. And that girl, they are fierce and can keep fighting until exhaustion. These are the stories I have heard. Do you remember Gara's forts? And about the beautiful tale? But Yu interrupted his reverie. According to the wolf legends he heard, this is quite different. Why is a descendant of the wolf race being treated like a slave in this way? Would losing the war be enough to justify all this? A guy arrives announcing that it's snack time, telling everyone to clear out quickly and grab their food. He saw that she finished her quota this morning. He delivers the food while shouting at her to eat, calling her a clumsy dog. Our subject is surprised to remember. It was a soup with a piece of stale bread, the same one that was served to him. This brings not very good memories for our boy. He realizes that the quality and quantity of her food are clearly different from those of the others. Yu draws the attention of our friend. She apologizes for being rude, but says that if he wants to help someone in front of him, he shouldn't be afraid of being hypocritical and should take action, because, in the end, everything he is doing is helping her, after all. He decided to take action, saying they would stay there for another 10 days. He asks one of the workers where his boss is, and he replies that he is in the office. After a few moments of conversation, the girl keeps eating her meager food unknowingly, but around her, some people are talking about her. He goes up to her, mentioning that he spoke with his boss and that his compensation for the load is 3 yens. He says that the mountain of things she did that day is not something that should be done, and she is forcing herself. She explains that they cut 300 yen per day for food. He wonders if it is only for this poor soup. The girl stares at him with a fearsome look. He questions that look, even knowing that she is not in her best condition. But then he wonders if he is a boy or not. Even though they seem poor, their eyes still hold a strong pride. It is the same as I heard in the legends. If this girl were a child, I would simply give her some money and walk away, but that wouldn't be necessary. From your 3 yen payment, give me 600. If you do this, you could earn 10 times more. Can you listen to me for a moment? According to what your boss understands, you have the ability to strengthen your legs. He says yes, but explains that the duration is only 10 seconds. It is just one of the versatile basic skills, but its short duration ends up making it useless for the job. He explains that he can extend the duration of this ability. She will be able to use this ability even for weeks, and if he does that, she could finish this charge the next day. She questions how he could manage to do something impossible. She tries to understand his proposal. Our boy explains that, in her condition, she will finish in 4 days, but if she finishes it tomorrow, she will be able to earn the same amount of money, cutting the time in half. He questions whether she understands mathematics, and the girl gets annoyed, stating that she knows how to read and write. As he imagined, she was properly created, but she questions why she is in such a place, not knowing if she is being used by someone. At least, she is not a vagrant. He comments that he will earn his money, and she will earn hers faster, which would be good for both sides, leaving her to decide on her own. She comments that if she cannot finish faster, she will not give him the money. He agrees with the situation. He then explains the whole system to the girl about the 10 points fee, and she confirms. Unlike the last time he explained the details to Ultra, he believes that the girl in front of him will understand better than the others. At the end of his explanation, he asks you, activating your ability, giver of abilities. The strong pressure leaves the girl surprised. Donation process started, please select the skill to donate. Upon hearing the voice in his mind, he realizes that you can assist him in the usual way. He goes up to the girl, saying he is Mars. Questioning the girl's name, he extends his skill with his hand. She introduces herself as Shizuku. He thinks it's a good name, so he continues. You confirm Shizuku as debit and confirms the strengthening of the selected duration and initiates the transfer. Shizuku feels the ability, and our guy explains that she can now extend its duration. He also provided her with a reasonable amount of points. He also gives her a piece of sweet bread as a gift. She is happy with its taste. Our guy wonders if snack time is over. She runs toward work. Yu questions why he charged money since he could have donated to her for free. He explains that the girl still has pride in her eyes. Even though she is all dirty, he believes she could be the kind of girl who would not accept it if she thought it was an act of sympathy. Sometime later, our guy is surprised that she finished everything on the same day. She carried more than her own weight, as expected from the race of wolves. You asked where Shizuku was. Our guy says she is talking to her boss. That's when the girl arrives. She thanks Mars for being able to finish quickly, but he explains that she should look for a new job, as the effect of the skill will last until the 10th day. He hopes that she can make a lot of money so she can take care of her body. Since she knows how to read and write, if she looks, she might find something good. She hands over the money as promised, and our guy thanks her. She seems thoughtful, soon says goodbye to them. He is also contemplative about the girl's reaction. The next day they are walking. Yu asks if he needs anything else, and he replies that he thinks it's enough. Our boy turns to the side of a house. Yu questions who is watching. He believes it to be Shizuku. He questions what she is doing there. Meanwhile, at the tavern, Ultra is outraged. If he could return the reward for the capture, this problem in his stomach would disappear. Our guy reported that he found them paralyzed in the dungeon. Since he couldn't bring them, he left them and reported back. He doesn't understand how Mars is still alive and how he managed to complete the dungeon. Gordon arrives in a hurry, saying he has good news. He is annoyed to be running while everyone else is drinking. Ultra notices that Gordon is feeling much heavier and slower. Thinking that she must soon get rid of him as well, Ultra questions the reason for the guild's summons. He explains that Lord Abik found it after the capture of the demonic abyss. He invited them to meet him and gave them the chance to showcase their abilities. Ultra is surprised that the army is looking at him now, as his path as a true ranks has not yet ended. In recent years, your group has been at the top of performance, and now they have earned the name Dungeon Destroyers with ranks. Tina comments that they still lack prestige. Ultra, greedy as always, comments that, as the lord governing this region, he can grant them this prestige. Even becoming nobles is no longer just a dream. Inside, he thinks that he can no longer keep any incompetent person in his group, and that removing Mars was the right decision, after all. He remembers that this region had been conquered by demi-humans in the past, and how Lord Abik is from a fighter-type house. They will undoubtedly pay their debts. He believes that the right thing is to show their skills. He wants to showcase his skill with the divine sword and Tina's white angel wings. With that, his performance will be perfect. Tina remarks that she thinks it's better not to, saying that her holy sword would suffice. Gordon finds this response unusual, but he decides to forget about it since Ultra didn't say anything, and he asks for something to eat and a beer. Ultra does not know where Mars is, but as long as he has his ability, his group will never perish, hoping that he looks and envies it. It is explained that his ability is focused on speed. He surpasses normal human perception. But what would happen if he tried divine speed without dynamic perception? They will soon realize the value of the first skill that Mars bestowed upon them, but this will only happen when they need to use them. The girl notices our guy there and is surprised. She started running while he called her name. Yu doesn't understand what happened to her. Our guy notices the roots growing in this fruit. He knows that it is a flower that grows from roots. They can be consumed and are used as emergency food. Yu doesn't understand if this is a problem. He explains that it has poison. If ingested in large quantities, your hand will fall off. That's where the name of the plant comes from. Your poison can be removed with a good wash, but clean water is still necessary. For the girl who can barely clean her body properly, this would be a problem. He doesn't understand why she would be desperate to eat this, thinking she needed to survive, but it's only been 1 day since she got paid. He finds the situation suspicious, so she decided to go to the guy who hired her, asking you to find her. Upon arriving there, he talks to the man. He explains that he properly paid 600 yen. Our guy realizes that this person doesn't intend to pay her, right? He believes it was 3. He explains that his business will go bankrupt if he pays 3. He explains that she can finish this in 4 days, and still, he could extend it to 5 even after paying for the food. She should have 1,500. Since she carried the baggage that way, she ended up breaking it, so I had to deduct it from her payment. But still, her performance today was good, and she managed to finish everything. Therefore, I still paid her 600. The only reason she is doing this is because the job pays 3 yen. And even after receiving 600 she came to pay our expensive one. That's why she can only eat something this way. The man is surprised at how they managed to finish in 1 day, believing they will try to replicate it later. Our guy believes she should be paid for the extra work she did, but the other one comments that she is just a wolf. He doesn't care about the work she does and laughs at the possibility of giving her a worthy job. Our friend gets frustrated with the similarity. Those people would do the same. He understands the situation. Seeing it this way, there are some things he learned. The reason Ultra and the others wanted to kill him, until now he did not understand how Ultra and the others looked at him. It was because he was weak at that time, but he didn't expect that they would want to kill him just to avoid paying his way out. There would be other ways for them to do that. The result, in the end, could be merely harmful. It's not about winning or losing, it's about morality. He questions your values in thinking this is a good idea. but now he understands how they see. This type of human really exists in this world. They can't see others due to their distorted morals and common sense, and they dismiss everything to benefit themselves. A human who will exploit and destroy others. Someone who steals people's money must have their own goals. But this one is different. He is blind to his convictions. He lives to exploit good people. The guy comments that this is the best way to live. Our guy has learned enough and has finally understood. He imagines that our friend wants to know the terms of the contract for that dog, so he must pay a fee to him. Why does he keep being a stranger there? He asks to take your hand, knowing that the guy would normally not say that. Delivering the coins to the man. He activates the spatial rupture ability. The guy's hand falls instantly, while our protagonist, now sadistic, watches the whole scene. The man goes into shock as his arm falls to the ground. He starts screaming in pain without understanding. Meanwhile, our boy bends down to pick up the coins that fell on the floor. He pulls the guy's arm, commenting that it is the same amount Shizuku received, asking if he is happy now. Why can't you get it right? Is it the money you want to trap so much? He questioned, indignantly, what the protagonist had done to him. Our boy stepped on the amputated arm and questioned back. Mentioning Shizuku, he asked what she ate today. The guy doesn't understand and says he doesn't care about that. He explains that she ate the poisonous roots. But you knew that, even if you explained, it would be impossible for this guy to understand what he did, so you should make him feel it with his own body. Because in this world there are people who never understand until they taste the same flavor. He still doesn't understand why she wanted to pay him after taking one of his abilities. She could have fought on her own with her power. Even so, she kept her promise. He comments that werewolves are a noble breed, just as he heard in the legends. So, he will do this in her place. He is the one who lost his pride and his honor a long time ago. The guy questions who he is, and that he has no right to be there. Our guy explains that it's because he didn't pay what he owed to the girl. He says again that she is not human and should not pay. Our guy approaches, leaving the other frightened. He questions, mentioning that, because he said he would pay her, he invested his skill in her, leaving him astonished. This is why he is helped, no matter if she is human or a wolf. He is there to collect the rewards of his skill, which he exploited for nothing in return. That is why he came, and if he does not resist, his life will be spared. The fat man refuses, saying that the money is his and questioning whether the other thinks he will get away with all of this. Our boy comments that the guy reduced 3 to 600 yen. The protagonist comments that the next one will be the other arm, and then it will take away his 2 legs. Questions whether it should do the same, reducing it to a fifth of what it was. Commenting that it can heal him as many times as necessary until he pays. Thus, the people who pass by are surprised. The merchant's house is completely destroyed, so let's continue our conversation. You must already understand that I'm not bluffing. Would it be wise for you to think about how we can end this conversation with only your arm in that state? He does not like the method of controlling others through fear, but this man needs to start repenting for his actions, if this type of human has any remorse. Yu soon returns, saying that she brought Shizuku with her. Questioning what to do, the protagonist asks to wait a second. He realizes that the office is destroyed and people can see them from outside. He uses the Seraph's blessing, and the man's arm grows again. He explains that it is a dispute between the two. He asks them to come in. They are surprised by the mess that is there. He questions Shizuku about her condition, and she says she is fine but doesn't understand what happened there. Yu explains that she ingested only a little poison and that her body is fine, also saying that she will increase the interest and return the wings of the angel she borrowed. He moved the amputee's arm before the 2 entered. Questioning again, the young man replied quickly. He asks what he did and explains that he irrationally reduced Shizuka's payment, commenting that he did bad things. So you will return what belongs to her, in addition to covering her medical expenses and late fees. He asks how much that would be. Our friend returns the value to the little she-wolf, saying that it holds great worth. She doesn't understand the reason for receiving so much and questions it. He doesn't understand because the value is low, and our guy returns the rest of your coins, explaining that, if it were more, it would be him who would be stealing something. He takes out a coin and says it is to repair the damage to the building, activating the 6 arms of Shura ability. He asks her to stay with him. Throwing the coin with his arms, he hits the guy in the forehead, making him fall to the ground. With that, all the debts were paid, and no one owes anything to anyone. He leaves, saying that then, do not look for him anymore. The other workers go to the boss and ask if he is okay. The irritated guy orders them to call the men of Eldro at that moment.